For lesson 2.6, we're going to be dividing whole numbers. Okay, so we're taking a break from fractions and decimals, and we'll focus on just division of whole numbers. So oftentimes what I'll call this is long division. So if you see this kind of a division symbol, and then you have some numbers in here and some numbers out here, I often call this long division. Okay, because sometimes it can go really long from top to bottom. So let's take a look at some vocabulary before we begin. So when we're talking about dividing whole numbers, some of the terms that we'll use here in pink refer to parts of a division problem. So the number inside this little blue bracket, we're going to call that the dividend, okay? And then the number outside is called the divisor. The answer to a division problem is called the quotient. And then if we're dealing with remainders, which sometimes we will, sometimes we won't, any numbers that are left over, we can call a remainder. Though we won't have remainders when we're using, when we're dividing and coming up with fractions. When we're getting decimals in our answer. So let's show a division problem that doesn't look like this. Okay, so if we have 11 divided by 4, and I write it like this, and it looks like a fraction, right? That can be translated into this problem, where the 11 is the dividend, and then the 4 is the divisor. Okay, so essentially this numerator here is being divided by this amount. Okay, so I'm taking 11 and I'm dividing it into 4 parts. So think of it like that. So I'm taking this 11 and I'm trying to split it up into 4 different parts. That's all that divisor means. All right, so long division. Let's move this out of here. Long division is, so let's go back to, let's not use 11 and 4. Let's do something like 12 divided by 3. So notice how I wrote it sort of backwards. I said 12 divided by 3, but then I wrote everything to the left. Okay, so when I say 12 divided by 3, or I guess I should write that in words, by 3. The way I read it and the way I write it is sort of backwards. So the 12 ends up going inside these little brackets, and then I work my way to the left. Okay, so this 3 goes out here. So if I say 2 divided by 4, this is going to be inside the brackets here, and the 4 is on the outside. If I say 3 divided by 6, the 3 is in brackets, and the 6 is on the outside. Okay, so that's just something that some students occasionally get a little confused about. So let's take a look at some division problems that you're going to be working with here. Let's just go ahead and let me make a copy of a couple of these, and then I'll get rid of that. So let's blow this up here. So for number 17, we have 837 divided by 27. Okay, so that's how we write it. So now our job here is to look at this number, the divisor, and figure out how many times it fits into the numbers inside the brackets. Let's make the brackets blue. I'm calling this a bracket. So how many times does 27 fit in to the numbers, into the dividend, the numbers inside the brackets? So 27, first we asked ourselves, how many times does it fit into 8? If it doesn't fit into that number, then the space above it can be blank. Okay? So this space up here, we can sort of leave it blank. So, some people might add a 0, but it's not really necessary. So if it doesn't fit into the 8, then we extend it and we say, well, how many times then does it fit into the number 83? So how many times does 27 fit in to 83? Okay, and then I do a little bit of side math. I say, all right, so 27, and I think, well, how many times can I multiply that to get up to 83? So then we start trying numbers. Let's try 3. So 21, 6, 7, 8. So right off the bat, 3 gives me 81. 81. And so I know that if I multiply this by 4, it's going to be over 83, so I can't use that number. So I'm going to put 3 above the second number, okay, because I left this one blank. So that tells me that 3 times 27 is this 81. And then I write that there. And I'm going to subtract these numbers. So 83 minus 81 is 2. Okay, but we still have this 7 to work with. So what we do is we drop this number down. And then we ask ourselves, how many times does our divisor, right, that number on the outside of the brackets, fit into that remainder, that 27? Well, this would fit in there 1 time, right? So 1 would go up here. Okay, then 1 times 27 is 27. I subtract these and I get 0. When you get 0 as a remainder, you're happy because you're finished. So what this is all saying is 31 times 27 is 837. Okay, so and I can do that math on the side to check. Is 31 times 27 giving me that dividend number? And it is, right? These two match. Okay, so the placement of the numbers you put up here is important. So work one step at a time. This is connected to that number. This 3 that I wrote is connected to the whole 83. And then this 1 is coming from the remainders that I was working with. Okay, so that's a lot. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. Hopefully you've done this before. But if not, rewatch the video, slow it down, ask questions, and if this video was too confusing, remember you can always jump on YouTube and find other math people who can try to teach you the same stuff. Right? So if this was confusing to you, go to YouTube. Take this whole word, or like all these words, the name of our lesson, type it into YouTube, and you'll find, 10, 20, 100, 1,000 videos of YouTubers doing the same thing. And so if that helps you, if you want to try that out to solve these division problems, go ahead. But hopefully you learned a little bit from that video. All right, that was section 2.6, dividing whole numbers.